I'm Julia Magill. I'm a wildlife biologist with the University of Florida. I got my degree in wildlife conservation and I've been a birder for about 5 years. So right now we're at Sweetwater Wetlands Park. It's an area in Gainesville that was created to serve kind of a dual function, partly as a water treatment area that filters water that goes to Payne's Prairie, and it's also a recreational area for people to come and bird and look at wildlife and be in nature. I come here a lot for work, about once every 3 weeks, to look for snail kites in the prairie, which is an endangered bird, and I also come here a lot to bird just for fun. Birding can mean different things to different people. For me, it's usually going out with binoculars, keeping track of how many birds I see, trying to see more species over time. But for some people, it's just sitting in their backyards looking at their bird feeders. And for others, it's a very competitive hobby, having like a big year, trying to see as many birds as you can in 1 year, or keeping a running total. So basically it's anyone who enjoys going out to look at birds and does it as a hobby. When I'm birding, I usually bring my binoculars. Sometimes I'll bring my telephoto lens for photography, and I'll always have my phone for eBird, which is an app that keeps track of how many birds I see. I've always been interested in nature and wildlife. So I went to college for wildlife conservation, but I really became a birder after college. My first wildlife job, there were people on our crew that birded, and they'd have competitions throughout the day to see how many species we could find and then compare at the end of the day. And so it kind of became a game for us, and that got me into keeping track of how many birds I've seen, going out and getting better at IDing, and it just became really fun and addictive. You can bird pretty much anywhere. That's one of the fun things about birding as a hobby. There are certain hotspots that birders know of, especially like during migration, where you can see a high number of birds in a certain area, and you can use that app called eBird. So like if I go out today and document all the birds I see, other birders can look at that and they can use my list to kind of know what to look for, what to expect when you go to an area. And there's hundreds and thousands of birders, so it's a pretty cool map in the country and in the world about where you can find certain birds and where kind of the hot spots are. A lot of people who get into birding try to go by size and color, but that can often be skewed by bad lighting or it being far away. So a better way to ID species is by body shape, behavior, flight pattern, things like that. At Sweetwater, you can almost always find a good number of different species. Limpkin, which when I first came to Florida, I was very excited to see limpkin. They seem like a very rare exotic bird, but you can pretty much see them on any railing here. Glossy ibis, wood storks, anhingas, cormorants, boat-tailed grackles, lots of herons and egrets, and lots of little songbirds. So in total, we probably saw about 30 species today. We kind of came midday when it's best to come early in the morning or kind of at dusk. But today's highlights are probably the glossy ibis. They're really pretty to see up close. The little palm warblers are getting the orange crown because spring is coming. And it's always nice to see limpkin. Only see them in Florida, so it's always kind of special seeing them. And yeah, kind of cloudy, quiet day, but it's always nice to be at Sweetwater.